Akira Toriyama made the blueprint every shonen anime has to follow with Dragon Ball. Set up the evil baddies and show how strong they are, show the audience a bit of backstory, and then finally the main character shows up and it is time for trash talk?
Don't you lecture me with your $30 haircut. Goku dies.
Fighting. Since then, not much has changed from the blueprint. Sure, fights have become shorter and are mostly resolved in one episode instead of 30. The powers have become more complicated and interesting, and the production value from shows like Jujutsu Kaisen is through the roofs. But one fundamental element no one tried to change from the Dragon Ball blueprint is how the outcome of the battle is resolved. The main character needs to punch his opponent apart. That's the rule. What else should he do? Talk about his feelings? This is Noob Navigator, and this is how Mob Psycho 100 changed shonen anime. But before we talk about Mob Psycho 100, let's talk about Yusuke Murata's other work, One Punch Man. The premise of this shonen comedy is simple. The main character Saitama can beat every enemy with just one punch. The comedy derives from setting up an evil being so powerful that Goku would shit his pants, only to let Saitama beat him with one punch. Saitama is funny, but not that deep, and the side characters try their best to make the show more interesting. The far better show with a similar premise is Murata's other work, Mob Psycho 100. The main character, Mob, is the most powerful psychic in a world full of supernatural beings. The fights against ghosts and demons, which would be the main part of every other shonen anime, are pushed on the sideline in favor of more mundane, everyday problems. Like the fight against a Demon King and his 4 generals, which could have been a whole arc, is finished in about 3 minutes, while Mob is thinking which costume he should make for the school fair. It is a funny gag, but the show represents these challenges we have to face every day as important or even more important than the spectacular fight scenes. For example, after this insane fight, follows an episode where the characters are hiking through the woods. In its heart, Mob Psycho 100 is a show about managing daily life, finding friends, and searching for your place in society. Unlike any other shonen protagonist, Mob does not train to become better at beating bigger foes, he trains to become part of the world without using his psychic powers. As a small child, he wanted to save his younger brother from some bullies, but lost control of his powers, ending up hurting them way more than intended. As a result, the once open-hearted Mob locked this part of his soul away and closed himself off emotionally. Alone and isolated, he sought help. This help came in form of Reagan, who told him that Mob's psychic powers are just a part of him, but not the part that defines him. He can put himself out there, he can change. The word of advice meant so much to Mob that he joined the Telepathic Club and later the Body Improvement Club, slowly but steadily becoming an integral part and getting friends. The aforementioned Reagan proclaims himself as a great psychic, but is in fact a con artist who lies and tricks his way through life. At first, he relies on Mob's powers to hunt real ghosts and demons to earn extra cash, but later, Mob becomes his only real friend and the advice he gives him is earnest and pure. He also shows up to battles against other psychics just to let them know that he is the grown-up in the room, and destroying the city for world domination is very immature. Reagan grows as a character besides Mob and transforms from a gag character with stupid special moves to a reliable constant in Mob's life. Obviously, there are cool fight scenes in Mob Psycho 100, but the main conflict of most battles are not resolved through laser beams and punches, but through words. In the fight with Dimple, Mob believes that his friend is faking his real intentions and wants one truthful reaction from him. After everything seems pointless, Dimple sees the stupid shirt Mob is wearing and blatantly tells the truth that he looks like shit. An opinion Mob's other friends would not tell him because they don't want to hurt his feelings. It is an earnest opinion that can only come from Dimple. As a result, Mob knows his friend is still his friend, and Mob releases all of his power because he trusts that Dimple would not hurt him. And Dimple therefore gives up on becoming a god, cause it was boring anyway if he has nobody to share it with. Those heartfelt stories are at the center of every conflict, be it an evil organization or Mob's own brother. But Mob does not fight evil guys, he fights mislead individuals who made wrong decisions, corrupted by depression, arrogance, or the urge to belong somewhere in the world. Ultimately, the show builds towards the inner conflict with Mob himself. You see, every time Mob has dammed up emotions, they suddenly burst out and transform him, losing control over himself. The last conflict of the show is about the inner struggle of the two Mobs fighting over control who the real one is. But instead of a fight, it is more a decision and sudden realization to embrace the part of his soul he locked away. Because it is still part of him and shows him how far he has come and grown and how much he has changed. It is a show about subverting expectations constantly. For example, the emotionally fully grown Mob asks his childhood crush out on a date. In every other anime, the hero has struggled so much that he deserves the girl at the end. But in Mob Psycho 100, he gets rejected. Acting like a teenager would react, with tears, and not by transforming into a monster. Finally achieving his goal of having his power under control. Mob Psycho 100 is a show where no conflict can be resolved through violence, but through earnest feelings. And therefore, every other show should learn a lesson or two from Mob Psycho 100. This is Noob Navigator. Thanks for watching.